Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the first Skolside cast of the NFL season following a heartbreaking loss that all three of us were actually at. And we're going to be previewing the Arizona Cardinals for you guys today. Talking about offense, talking about how our defense can attack them, offense attack them, kind of reflecting on last week's game as well. Talking about the injury report that came out today that kind of scared us all to death a little bit that we got to go play Kyler now with potentially not Eric Hendricks, so we'll get a follow up on that. But Jim and Mike, reintroduce yourself to the I guess the following.
Skolside, what's up? Excited to be back. Talk some Vikings football.
Yeah, it's good to be back, and let's go get a win in Arizona.
All right, Jim, take it away. You're the injury guy. So what kind of broke down today? Courtney Cronin kind of was sniffing it out first.
Yeah, Corey Cronin with the breaking news today. I got the Vikings injury report up here. So we have our normal guys who have been on there. Anthony Barr is a DNP again. It's the fourth straight practice. If everyone remembers, last Wednesday he was limited, and ever since he was limited in that Wednesday practice, he hasn't practiced since. So there's some cause for concern there. I don't know really what's going on with that. Christian Darrisaw practiced a limited, his fourth straight practice today, limited. Harrison Hand doesn't look like he's going to play this week. He was a second, two days in a row at DNP. And then Nick Vigil's limited. It sounds like he's going to play. He better play. Everson Griffin and Eric Hendricks got hurt yesterday in their practice, apparently. Everson Griffin has a concussion. I'm not sure I don't know how that happens in practice, but unfortunately it does. And then Hendricks with the quad. I think that was the injury that bothered him last year.
I was going to say, that sounds very familiar.
So I don't know what the from Courtney Cronin, the most important news was that Eric Hendricks looks like he might get an MRI.
That's
other than that. Griffin, if he wants to play, he's got a clear concussion protocol by Sunday morning.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, if Griffin plays or not, like it's obviously we want him there. If Kendricks can't go, that's the game you start playing in your head is like, who are the linebackers that are going to be trying to tackle Baby Yoda, Kyler Murray? It's going to be Nick Vigil and Troy Dye, which is Troy Dye with the no gloves, no sleeves. He looks terrible out there. But he's a really hardworking guy, so like I don't want to he just needs to get some drip, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, with Troy Dye, I mean, he is, I guess, it's not a good matchup, but he is pretty athletic. So maybe he can hang in there this week. But, I mean, if you have Nick Vigil, it would be Nick Vigil, Blake Litch, and Troy Dye as your starting linebackers without Kendricks and Barr.
And Vigil played well.
He played really well. That sack.
He had a good game.
Yeah, a couple missed tackles, but other than that, I mean, the Vikings as a team had, I think 15 or 16 missed tackles on Sunday. So it wasn't just him, but yeah, hopefully Vigil's all ready to go. I mean, he's been limited 2 days in a row, so hopefully he's ready to go. I mean, if all three of those guys get dinged up, I mean that's last year's linebacking core. That game against the Saints, that's what you'd be watching.
Yeah, and we all know how that the 6 touchdown performance. But we'll stick with defense. So Kyler Murray, we all kind of saw the highlights last week. 5 touchdowns. He had some highlights that looked like it was straight out of a video game. And with the Vikings kind of not struggling to, struggling to dominate a Bengals offense that we wish we could have. But, Bengals have some weapons, so they're not like a terrible team. But how do you guys think the Vikings defense can progress in this week 2 matchup with an offense that we could be saying at the end of the year that this was a top 3, top 4 offense?
I'll go. I think that I mean, the key is like, can you contain Kyler, keep him in the pocket. That's the biggest key here. It seemed like the Vikings did get a decent amount of pressure last week, based off especially the interior. Even Michael Pierce was a surprise. With the 2 sacks, looked a little mobile out there. But I think we got to have the same thing. You got to get interior pass rush to kind of disrupt the pocket, but you also can't let him get outside the pocket. Keep him in there, make him throw. I think that's the biggest key to this game. And can the secondary hold up? I think Peterson, overall, it seemed like he had a decent game. Overall, he didn't get targeted a lot. Breland was targeted a lot. He had a couple rough plays. He gets to be the key. Can the cornerbacks hold up? because they're going to need to, have some guys find Kyler, a linebacker probably. So I think that would be the key. Can you get pressure on him, keep him in the pocket, and can the cornerbacks hold up in the back end?
Mike, do you think a lot of Smith in the box to take away the read option on first, second down potentially?
I could see that. It's a good point because, if Hendricks is out, you're going to need someone else. Harrison Smith, he's big enough to play linebacker. He's pretty good at – that's probably one thing he's really good at is, blitzing, getting in there quick and, kind of helping in the run support.
And he's an athlete. He can move side to side. I mean, he can –
he can move a little bit. I think that's his better strength. And I don't know if he's like – I think that's probably his biggest strength is, helping in run support and, kind of attacking, coming up blitzes. I would say, coverage-wise, he could be a little shaky at times, in my opinion. But, yeah, he could help in that regard, too. I agree with you there.
Yeah, so the one weakness with the Cardinals offense, kind of like the Vikings offense, is the Cardinals offensive line isn't that good. And even last week, they blew out Tennessee last week. Even though, Murray was still pressured a pretty good amount of his drop back. So, look, the Vikings are going to need more from Danielle Hunter. Hunter really – he got going a little bit in the second half when they tried to block him with a tight end, but they need him more. Michael Pierce had a couple nice sacks last week, like Mike said. That was good to see. But really, I'm kind of concerned. DJ Wonnum, that was not a really good performance from him last week. They're going to need him to play better because, look, if teams are doubling Hunter and Griffin isn't playing, and I know Weatherly's probably better inside, rushing on third down. They're going to need DJ Wonnum to play better and containing the run too. If anyone watched Joe Mixon last week, Bengals were just running completely, just doing the halfback stretch play in Madden.
Yep.
And they were getting the Vikings big tackles moving side to side. So, they need their defensive line. They did get some nice pressure, but they need to take a step forward this week. And then my big matchup is Peterson on Hopkins. Like Mike said, Peterson didn't get targeted really at all last week. I'm assuming he's going to get targeted this week.
Yep.
They're going to throw the ball to Hopkins. And then behind Breeland, if Breeland struggles again, who are they going to target? They're going to go back to Chris Boyd, and I'm assuming Cameron Dantzler. He's fallen from Mount Everest.
Yeah, well, quote today from Zimmer's press conference on Dantzler. He said he's going to need to play some special teams. So I don't know if that's like is he that much in the doghouse? Like, are you guys feeling like, is that the vibe that Zimmer's?
Yeah, I think so.
Most backups do play special teams, but just him saying that to the media,
I know.
That's not a good. It just hasn't looked good. I don't know if Cameron Dantzler, I don't know if it was an attitude issue or he was pouting about losing a starting spot. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was fighting an injury. But yeah, he's gonna have to play better. Xavier Woods, I thought he obviously got beat on that big 4th and inches play, but he did have a couple good pass breakups against Cincinnati. So yeah, they're gonna need just like you said, Pat Smith's probably gonna be in the box a little bit more, especially if their linebackers are hurt. So that's gonna be big on Xavier Woods playing the back end, and they're gonna have to play good coverage. So yeah, but the defensive line and the offensive line, they're gonna have to win that battle if they're gonna just want to stop them.
Yeah, and they're going to need to win that. I think it's going to have to happen early downs, first and second, because Michael Pierce and Dalvin Tomlinson, you don't want them in third down trying to run around, chase around Kyler. Like they are great, but it's the foot speed. We all saw that viral clip of Kyler when he stopped on that dime. That was against an edge. He embarrasses people. I just think Danielle Hunter, Jim, you said he needs to get going. This needs to be a game where it's like, okay, 99's back. That's kind of what needs to happen. Michael Pierce, he balled out. I expect kind of the same thing. I doubt he'll have the 2 sacks again, but I just want to see him and Dalvin Tomlinson. They just need to wreck the run game this week. They need to win the line of scrimmage. They need to be consistently pushing them back the entire game, and I think they have a chance. But moving on, offensive side of the football. This is the most maddening offense. I call them talented idiots because they took a gun and shot themselves in the leg over and over and over again, and I felt like we didn't even see the real playbook because it was all on 3rd and 13. Mike, what did you see when we were at the game on Sunday about the offense and where can they go to attack the Cardinals? Because they're going to need to be explosive. It's going to need to be 30 points holding the ball consistently.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you said it. I mean, like the offensive line had way too many penalties, like holds, false starts. I mean, you can name it, but I mean, this is the offensive line they have. I mean, they got a bunch of guys that are like, there's not really a lot of proven guys in this offensive line besides Brian O'Neill overall. So I mean, they gotta limit the penalties first. I mean, that's gonna be the key. I mean, is the offensive line, because Kirk's only as good as his offensive line. We already seen that. Any pressure, he panics. He's not really good in the pocket, like we talked about before. And he just starts dumping the ball off. So, I mean, I think what's going to happen is, I was looking at the stats last week. They had 49 pass attempts and then, like, I think 23 run attempts. So you already know Zimmer can't sleep over that balance there. So I think he's going to – my guess is they'll probably come out and establish the run early.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wouldn't do that. I would come out and try to hit big chunk plays, get Thielen and Jefferson locked in early because, I mean –
the Cardinals are going to put 9. There'll be 9 guys in the box because they know Zimmer, like the league does.
Yeah, then you got Chandler Jones too. We're gonna have Rashad Hill. Look what he did to Taylor Lewan, who's actually a good tackle.
Chandler Jones also was great in the run game last week. He was phenomenal too. Like, it's both ways with him.
Yeah, so I mean, they're gonna have to have guys support Chandler Jones. It's gonna be a challenge. I mean, but yeah, like I said, I would try to hit deep throws early. Hit him on big plays, get Thielen and Jefferson locked in. Because I was telling you guys before that I was watching Jefferson a lot last week, and you could already tell the body language wasn't good. He was throwing his arms up in the air a lot. Not getting the ball. And so, yeah, but Cousins going to need time because when he has time, obviously, like we all said, he'll throw the ball deep, but he needs that time. That's basically, he just doesn't like to throw to tight windows. So, that'll be the key. Offensive line, how can they hold up against Chandler Jones?
Yeah, and, I like how Zimmer said at halftime last week that Kirk holds onto the ball too long. Like, just a complete insult to our intelligence. Like, we've all known that for, like, 4 years now. Like, and, I mean, if you want to say something back to Zimmer, is like, well, Mike, you haven't really improved your offensive line at all, like, in 3 or 4 years. And every cent in free agency went to what side of the ball this year, and it went to defense.
Yep.
So, and you cut your starting left tackle, and your first-round pick is hurt, so there are issues there. One thing that we didn't see a lot of was last week with the offense is we really didn't see a ton of the play action and the bootlegs. And even when there was play action or they tried to do a bootleg, the timing just seemed off. There was one where Jefferson was streaking down the field and Cousins threw the ball late. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're going to try to get back to that stuff. And my thing is, I try to get Justin Jefferson going early as possible in this game, because I don't think Arizona's defensive backs, I know they're not as, they might not be bad, but they probably can't guard Justin Jefferson. So the Vikings got to use him in this game. They got to go down the field early. We can't wait till we're in the third, fourth quarter, and that's when we start going down the field. So, yeah, I think you guys get Justin Jefferson going. Use Jefferson and Thielen to set up Cook later in the game instead of the other way around. But, it's going to be the whole thing. Can they block Chandler Jones? I don't know, but they better, because if you don't, then Kirk's going to be – just look at that 3rd and 10 play last week. I was talking to you guys before we got on here, that 3rd and 10 play where the blitz came and Cousins said, nope, I'm going down. You'll see a lot of that if Chandler Jones gets going early.
Yeah, I mean, we all want to – that's the tough thing with the Vikings, where they really shot themselves in the foot. Again, I keep saying that, but in the offseason, not addressing left tackle, when you have an elite edge rusher, it just – I love Brian O'Neill, but he's on the right side. We got Myles Garrett coming up. We got Khalil Mack twice and Darius Smith twice. And the left tackle we drafted, he's out. So that's the thing that just kind of sucks in this game. I feel way more confident. But, I mean, I think you just got to – if you can run the ball, you do it right away. But if you can't, I don't want this to be a thing where it's like, okay, first drive, we kind of ran the ball, it was decent, but they are clearly stacking the box. Or, Cousins, why don't you just start checking out of plays? That's something that never happens, only for us. Is I never see Cousins, and it's like, all right, there's 8 guys in the box, screw this. But I think it's just because he's scared of his head coach. But I think if you can run, do it. But move off it quick. You got to adjust quick because KJ Osborne, he's here and he's ready to play. Adam Thielen still looks like Adam Thielen, and we all know how Justin Jefferson is. I mean, Jim, you said it. The Cardinals' corners, like, let's make that the story of the game. Is the Cardinals, super talented defense, but their corners can't guard. Like, I mean, that, like, make that the weakness. You got to expose them in that aspect. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it's going to be the key. I mean, I can't let Justin Jefferson get frustrated in the first and second quarters, and that's what happened. And to Mike, you said it before we got on here, like two balls did go through his hands. Like he could have caught some of those balls too. So it is a two-way street.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be exciting this Sunday. Anytime you're playing like an elite quarterback like Kyler, I think it's always fun to watch. And Zimmer, I mean, we like to dog on him, but he's a creative defensive mind. So I think Zimmer will throw something at Kyler that maybe we even haven't seen out of the Vikings defense. So we'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is something that will probably come once or twice a week, every Saturday or Friday before the game on Sunday, depending when the game is. So thank you guys so much. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.